this week we are looking at writing learning outcomes for knowledge and for understanding. And when you look in your workbooks, this is going to be explained very clearly in the forward workbook that you have. Knowledge is the lowest on the ladder. There's that ladder, that level of learning. Knowledge is the lowest, and then when you're moving up the ladder, all of the other steps fall under the umbrella of understanding. And this week we're looking at how to write learning outcome goals for knowledge and for understanding. So we're looking at the lowest three levels, actually: knowledge, comprehension, and application. So you are going to learn some specific words this week, some vocabulary words: level of learning, and those first three levels are the ones we're looking at this week. Knowledge is simply the ability to recall facts and information. Now, that is the beginning of being able to understand. You can't understand something if you don't know about it. So this is the lowest level, but it's a worthy level of learning there. The next level is comprehension. The second level of learning is the ability to express ideas in new ways. If you can comprehend something, you can explain it, you can relate it, you can put it in your own words. That's comprehension. And that is just above knowledge. And as I had explained with a previous example, when a student can put John 3:16 in their own words and explain the concept of God's love in John 3:16 in their own words, that is comprehension. Application is the third level, and that is the ability to use in a new situation something that you've learned. It's a transference of learning, and that is another notch up. And so this week you are going to look at how to write learning outcomes for the lowest three levels: knowledge, comprehension, and application. Now, in your workbook, Unit 4, that unit right there, should take you about 45 minutes to complete. So you're going to have to spend a little bit of time in your workbook to master these concepts. And even though you have spent 45 minutes in your workbook, you may still not have mastered it. You might have to go back and look at it again. Then in the next section that you'll do for this unit is Unit 5 in the workbook. And in Unit 5, we're going to look at writing learning outcomes for analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Those are the three highest levels. Now, to be quite honest with you, oftentimes in Bible study, we don't get to evaluation. With some people, with some classes, it's particularly with children, we're teaching them knowledge and comprehension. We try to get them to make a life application, like, why is this important for us today? You know, we need to make some transference of learning there and make an application. But we don't often get to the highest levels in a learning session. You can get there, particularly if you are in a Bible study that has lasted for weeks, or you're progressing through a unit, or you've got a particular group of people that are studying the Bible consistently together, discipleship. And so we can get there, but it takes a lot of work to get to the top. Analysis is when you can break material down into its parts and solve problems in a systematic kind of way. Like you can outline a book, or you can take a whole and separate it into its parts. Synthesis is that level of learning where you put together something new out of what you have learned. So when we ask people to take what they have learned and to develop something else from that, for instance, your text gives the example of writing a newspaper article about what you have learned. The evaluation here comes at the end, and this is when you're able to judge the value of something that is based on a certain standard. Now, in this course, when we get to the end of this part of the study, you are going to be asked to write some learning objectives, some learning outcomes, with some performance indicators. We're going to post them on a discussion board, and then your classmates, well, I'll put you in groups, your classmates are going to evaluate whether or not you have written a learning outcome with a performance indicator that is proper. So we're going to practice that. We do this in the live class, and sometimes it takes a couple of class sessions for us to really get comfortable with it. So I have no doubt that it's going to take that same kind of interaction here. So that's evaluation. So we're moving you all the way from knowledge, learning the vocabulary words and learning the component parts of a learning objective, all the way to evaluation. And we're doing it in a pretty swift kind of way. So I know it's sort of like drinking from the fire hose, isn't it? It's a lot of information, and we struggle with it. But take heart, because the faculty struggles with it. Doctoral students struggle with it. Everybody struggles with it. We have to practice it over and over and over again in order to get good at it. So once again, we're looking at levels of learning. We're moving from knowledge to evaluation and how to write proper learning outcomes at those varying levels this week. If you have any questions, once again, please do give me a call. I'm always here to help you.